गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना। गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना। मैं शरण पड़ा तेरी चरणों में जगा देना। मैं शरण पड़ा तेरी चरणों में जगा देना। चरणों में जगा देना। चरणों में जगा देना। करुणा निधि नाम तेरा करुणा बरसा हो तू। करुणा निधि नाम तेरा करुणा बरसा हो तू। सोए हुए भाग्य को नाथ जगाओ तू। सोए भाग्य को नाथ जगाओ तू। नाथ जगाओ तू। नाथ जगाओ तू। मेरी नाव बाहर डोले उसे पार लगा देना। हुए नाव बाहर डोले उसे पार लगा देना। गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना। गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना। तुम सुख के सहारे हो महती के सहारे हो। तुम सुख से सहारे हो महती के सहारे हो। मेरे मन में समायो जीवन से प्यारे हो। मेरे मन में समायो मुझे प्राणों से प्यारे हो। मुझे प्राणों से प्यारे हो। मुझे प्राणों से प्यारे हो। नितमाल जपू तेरी मेरी दोष बुला देना। नितमाल जपू तेरी मेरी दोष बुला देना। गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना। गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना। मैं संतों का सेवक हूँ गुरु चरण का दास हूँ। मैं संतों का सेवक हूँ गुरु चरण का दास हूँ। नहीं नाचा बुलाना मुझे इस जग में अकेला हो। नहीं नाचा बुलाना मुझे इस जग में अकेला हो। इस जग में अकेला हो। इस जग में अकेला हो। तेरी द्वार का भिखारी हूँ नहीं दिल से बुला देना। तेरी द्वार का भिखारी हूँ नहीं दिल से बुला देना। गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना। गुरुदेव कृपा करके मुझको अपना लेना। जय गुरुदेव Gurudeva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva,
Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva,
Gurudev, 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 Jaya Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Guru, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai, Nityananda Rai, Jaya Nityananda Rai,
Jaya Nityananda,
Oh Jaya Sachi Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari, Sachi Nandan, Jaya Gaura Hari,
Jaya Satchinanda,
Oh Jaya Radha, Madana Mohan Radha, Madana Mohan Radhe,
Jaya Radha,
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe,
Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Shri Radhe.
Oh Radhe, 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 Jai Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gan Havaka Kiritari Radha Madan Mohan Ju Ki Jai Shrimati Radharani Brishabhanadini Vrajeshwari Ki Jai Jai Nityananda Rai Ki Jai Satchinandana Gaura Hari Ki Jai Jai Nityalila Pravishta Om Asto Tarasarashi Shimat Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Nityalila Pravishta Om Asto Tarasarashi Shimat Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Asto Tarasrashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Jagat Guru Nitya Leela Pravishta Om Asto Tarasrashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Pragyan, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Paramahamsa Mahabhagavat Srila Gaur Kishodas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Saptam Goswami Srila Satchidananda Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Jagannathas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai. Jai Srila Baladevi Dibhushan Gaudiya Vrataacharya Ki Jai. Srila Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai. Jai Narottam Srinivas Shyamananda Prabhu Trey Ki Jai. Srila Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai. Shri Rup Sanatan, Shri Bhata Raghunath, Shri Jiva Gopal, Bhattasa Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu's Ki Jai. Swarup Damodar Rai Ramananda Gaura Parsad Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sigaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Shri Gaura Bhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamakunda Radha Kun Giri Govardhana Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Jamuna Ki Jai. Brihat Mridanga Ki Jai. Sankirtan Yagi Ki Jai. Nam Bhajan Ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Siddharshan Chakra Ki Jai. Shingadev Bhagavan Ki Jai. Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai. Ananta Gota Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Go Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Om Aginati Mirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitan Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Guruve Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarabhaktaya Namo Namaha Yam Prabhajantamana Petyam Apeti Krityam Dvaipaino Viraha Katara Ajuhava Putreti Tammayatayo Tarabo Binedustam Sarabhutam Muni Hridimunatoshmi Anapita Chirim Chirat Kurunavartino Kalo Samarapaitam Unnata Ujvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Hari Purata Sundarata Dikanamba Satipita Sadahridare Kandare Spuratu Vasachinandanaha Bhaktya Vihina Aparara Lakshay Shiptas Chakarmadi Tarangamadye Kripa Maitvam Sharanam Prapana Vrinde Namaste Charanarvindam Tavaivasmi Najivami Tvaivi Iti Vignaya Radhe Tvam Nayavam Charanantikam. And first of all, offering millions and millions of Dandavat pranams unto the lotus feet of my beloved Gurudev Nitya Leela. Pravishta Om Asto Tarasarashi Shimad Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And I'm offering the same again millions of times unto the lotus feet of our beloved Nityalila Pravishta Om Asto Tarazarashishi Madhila Bhaktivedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada. And unto our beloved also, Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchitanandanamane Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupanuga Vrayate Adya Shila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. And all the Vaishnava and Vaishnavi devotees of the Lord, my Dandavat pranams to all of you. So continuing with our study of Jaiva-Dharma, and we're into the second set. Jade Dvaita Jnane Hoya Chita Upadaya
Krishna Bhakti Chira Dina Upaya Upaya. Such knowledge, which is solely related to the duality of this dull material world, is fit to be rejected, whereas transcendental knowledge of the divine duality within the spiritual world, Chit Jagat, should be accepted forever within one's heart, both as the Upai, means of attainment, and the Upai, goal worthy of attainment.
So we're hoping to take these truths into our hearts, where they will become fixed for the rest of our births, eternally appreciating having clear realization of these truths. Jiva Kabu Jadanai Hari Kabunai Hari Saha Jiva Chintya Beda Bedamai.
The Jiva is not a product of dull matter, nor is he Keval Advaita, absolutely one in all ways with Sri Hari. The Jiva is inconceivably different and non different from Hari.
Deha Kabu
Kabu
Jivanai
Jivanai Dhara Bhogyanai Dasya Bhoga Jiva Krishna Prabhu Bhokta Hai. The material body should never be considered to be the Jiva. And this earth is not for the Jiva to exploit and enjoy. The Jiva Swarup is Krishna Das, and thus he is meant for Krishna's enjoyment. Whereas Sri Krishna's Swarup is Prabhu, Master, and Bhokta, enjoyer. Jaiva Dharma nahi ache, Deha Dharma kata, nahi ache Jiva Jnane Maya Vada Prata. This book, entitled Jaiva Dharma, neither discusses matters related to the dead material body, nor does it propound the Mayavada doctrine of the Jiva's oneness with Brahm. Jiva Nitya Dharma Bhakti Tahe Jadanaya, Shuddha Jiva Prema Seve Phale Payataya. The Jiva's Nitya Dharma is bhakti, devoid of material motivation. The Jiva, purified by Seva, attains the fruit of that Seva in the form of Prem.
That is the fruit of the seva, is Nitya Prem, Prem Amal Seva. So we're coming back to our chapter 21. And yesterday we got quite much into the understanding of the basic different lokas and so on, and where the different jivas can attain liberation from. So if you're watching this on the video and you're not on our WhatsApp thread, we have a WhatsApp thread, a Jaiva-Dharma WhatsApp group. And there we're posting many maps and comments and so on about the various places that we're reading in Jaiva-Dharma. So we had a very nice map posted yesterday after the class showing the exact location of Siddhaloka beyond the material world. So it became all very clear, everything we were discussing. It was a good discussion because we clarified so many different points. And principally, we appreciated the unlimited amounts of different destinations there are for the jiva. Every jiva has so much distinctive desires and qualities, etc. So all of these destinations can be achieved by various practices and so on. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was bringing us, because he was commenting on this particular verse that is on the bottom of page 490. Kamad Dveshat Bayat Snehad Yata Bhakteshvara Manaha. this verse and the 6 um, um, aspects: calm, dvesh, bhaya, sneha, and coming to the point of sambandha and calm. So this is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur was building to yesterday, that we were discussing yesterday. He was bringing it to a point where he could discuss what is calm anuga and sambandha, or sambhog, sambandha anuga. So this is the final thing that we read yesterday. Thus, there are 2 types of ragamaya bhakti: calm rupa and sambandha rupa. So he eliminated the other 4 options, more or less. That was calm, dvesh,
Not calm. Dvesh, sneha.
sorry, sneha, bhaya, dvesh, and yes, it's these: envy, fear, or affection. By giving up these faulty aspects of these sentiments, the gopis have attained supreme by fixing their minds on Krishna through calm. So this is the point that Bhaktivinoda Thakur was building to here, like creating a ladder. So yesterday we were discussing, because I had my doubts about one of the expressions or the descriptions of a jnani bhakta. So this was my doubt, and that created the whole deeper examination of the text, which I think was very healthy to actually go into and see very clearly. So now we've reached the point where Brajanath is asking, what is the swarup, intrinsic characteristic of calm rupa bhakti? At the bottom of page 492. Okay.
Vrajanath. What is the Swarup, intrinsic characteristic of calm Rupa Bhakti? Babaji. The word calm signifies Sambhoga Trishna, the desire for Sambhog with Krishna. This Sambhoga Trishna changes into Ragatmika Bhakti, and from this, causeless loving behavior arises. In other words, Preeti Sambhoga is to satisfy Krishna's desire. All one's endeavors are made solely for Krishna's happiness and prosperity.
This is why we cannot even begin to enter this subject matter if we are still contaminated with so many material desires for our own happiness. So this is part of our sadhan bhajan. Initially, is purifying those lower tendencies of our material desires. This is very basic, to put Krishna in the forefront and step aside from our own material desires in this world, especially for liberation from our various sufferings and sorrows. This has to be all transcended. So therefore, this Raganuga path is an exceptionally high state of consciousness. Yet at the same time, as purifying our lower desires, we should be aspiring to come to that stage. We have to appreciate our fallen nature because we have material desires, etc. But my aspiration is to walk away from those material desires. And gradually, if that is sincere, if my practice is healthy, then Krishna's mercy will be bestowed and I will be able to leave that material conception of myself. Because ultimately it's described that to enter the pure state of Raganuga Bhakti, one must not have any conception of his gender, either male or female. So it's the deepest place that we have to go to actually not identify with this body. First of all, the gross material desires, and then the subtle aspect. So all of these considerations have to be attended to, but we have to know the path. This is the point. If we don't know the path, if we don't know what we're doing, then it'll become very bewildering, and we'll probably sentimentally go in different directions according to what we consider, oh, my heart is taking me in that way, my heart is taking me in that way. But we can't always believe in the conditioned heart. What?
Right. What it means not like feel what you male or female. What it's
To transcend our gender.
yeah.
Actually, ultimately, spiritually, we are all of a feminine quality, in the sense that in the female body, the sense of service is much more apparent than in the male body.
Yes.
In the male body, generally, the male psyche wants to control things. This is how it is in the material world. The male wants to be the controller in a relationship, whatever. Generally, of course, it's not like that now in Kali Yuga. It's very much mixed around, where men don't know their men and women don't know their women. But the identity, our identity, we should know spiritually, ultimately, is neither male or female. But ultimately, we come to that place of like neuter, and then we come to a place of female, following in the footsteps of the gopis.
But what about this place? Now we playing these games. Like we now.
Yes, but now we should know that we're playing the games. This is the whole point, Prabhu. That actually we should understand, yes, I'm playing the game of being a man. I'm playing the game of being a woman in this world. But the spiritual reality is beyond that gender conception. That's all we have to understand. We can't jump to that place. Of course you can't, artificially at all. But we can know about it. We should know about it. This is the point. You should know at root that you actually are feminine by nature, at root. This is beyond the abhiman, beyond this misidentification of the body. We just talked in the Falshruti. How long are we going to believe in this dull material nature as being myself? So it's described like this, that ultimately to enter, what I'm trying to emphasize is how rare it is to actually enter into these precepts and not be disheartened, but to be understanding clearly what is the goal. Vidhi Mag Rata Dane, Swadhinatna Ratna Jane, Rag Mag Karuna Pravesh. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying, when the Vaidhi Mag is carefully followed, then Krishna will bestow the independence of this Raganuga Bhakti. You understand?
Yeah.
That it's the process. I'm trying to emphasize to be very careful on this path, not to be suddenly illusioned after you finish this chapter and think, oh yes, now I know it all. Maybe I've got a little flavor of what is the path, but we should be very cautious about our all the dangers on this path that are there, and not jump. This is very important to appreciate in this chapter. But at the same time, we want to go forward. So it's like both. We get caught. We want to be very careful. At the same time, we want to develop the spontaneous attraction. So intellectually, it's like very hard to adjust, to be patient and impatient at the same time. If we chant sufficiently, if we pray for the Lord's mercy, all of these things will become very, very clear. And all I have to do is appreciate where I'm going. If I've got my sight on the goal, that I want to serve those ragatmika gun, those ragatmika gopis in Vrindavan, if that is my goal, then we will slowly, it'll be revealed to us which way to make our study. But this is the impression we're trying to fix in the core of our hearts, which way we're going. This is why my Gurudev said repeatedly, so many times, especially when we take our Sankalpa vow during the month of Kartik, he would always make us all say again and again and again and again, say after me, I want to be a Palya Dasi of Srimati Radhika. We didn't understand what that meant. We still don't understand what that means, but we knew that he had this intention for us. that this is the conception that I want to, this is the conception that Mahaprabhu is actually bestowing on us. And if we have taken birth in this age and we have been exposed to the teachings of Mahaprabhu, then it is more than a surety, more than 100% sure we can develop the adhikar to actually go forward in this way. Otherwise, we wouldn't be sitting here. We wouldn't be hearing about what is Raganuga Bhakti. There must be something there. So we should be very encouraged. But at the same time, we should realize the sensitivity of it and never jump. We have to practice carefully. Okay.
Without any desire for one's own happiness.
That's what I started to say. That's what I was describing. We're not thinking about us, we're thinking about the object.
Even if there is an effort for one's own pleasure, it is in accordance with Krishna's happiness.
Yes. So you understand that? What does that mean?
I look at Krishna only for his pleasure.
When we're seeing the deities, we shouldn't just be looking at Thakurji, so to speak. We should try to be appreciating what are their pastimes. It's always centering around their pastimes. It's like when we're chanting Hare Krishna, if we're not conscious of their pastimes, then what kind of japa are we actually involving ourselves in? If we're not thinking of their pastimes while we're chanting, if their pastimes aren't coming into our consciousnesses, and that can be developed. We can read, for example, Bhajan Rahasya. We can read this Rag Matvan Chandrika. There's very many beautiful books to guide us into that direction. Even the 38th chapter here in Jaiva-Dharma gives us the complete Astakalya Lila. So we need to be absorbed in Krishna's pastimes. It's the pastimes that are going to melt the heart. When we hear the tattva, like yesterday, we were discussing basically just the tattva of the ontological distinction between the planetary systems and the different types of liberation and being accepted into Vaikuntha or etc. like that, or Sarupya Mukti like that. This is what we were discussing yesterday. But really, the juice is in the lila. But that will come naturally, the greed and enthusiasm, the spontaneity to hear about that. We want to pray for the greed to hear about the lila. And there are many options that where we can go and we can listen to different presentations, etc., by Mahabhagavats, by pure devotees that are describing the lila. But it's the lila that is going to capture us, because it's the higher taste. It's saying here that made solely for Krishna's happiness. How can I do that if I'm thinking of my own happiness? So my own happiness has to be molded around the meditation on Krishna's happiness, which are all within his pastimes. You understand what I'm saying? You understand? What?
Sorry, the second question. But Maharaj, what means understand clear? Because when we're chanting, we concentrate on the chanting.
We can what?
So we concentrate on the japa. How at the same time we can concentrate on the
Well,
story?
we are saying Radha Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. What is the meaning of Hare Krishna? Are they just like statues? Are they pieces of wood or stone? They are engaging in meeting and separation, particularly in the Mahamantra.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. They are together.
Yes.
In what circumstance are they together? Perhaps in my mind, I'm remembering in the early morning Nishanta Lila. I'm remembering all the pastimes of Nishanta Lila as I'm chanting Hare Krishna. I'm hearing the vibration of the Mahamantra, and it's inspiring my consciousness into Nishanta Lila. And by the potency of the mantra, it will carry us into. Nishanta Lila is actually the deepest Lila. And at that particular time of the day, 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, the whole world around us is sleeping. And we can be awake and remembering how Radha and Krishna have just completed their Ratri, their nighttime pastimes, and now they are exclusively alone in the Kunj, and they've had their conjugal relationship, etc. And now they are very tightly embracing one another at that particular time.
But Maharaj, when I am on level in Kanishka, so I can just only visualize this. I can
We're
read
on
and
these
visualize
different
it.
levels,
Yeah.
but if we take shelter sincerely of the holy name, the holy name itself will perhaps even momentarily, if we're chanting with focused attention and we're thinking about these topics, but we have to, otherwise, what are we thinking about? What I've got to do today, how many this, how many that I got to do this,
But
get
if
money.
not thinking, just chanting without
But
thinking,
if
not
you're able
thoughts.
just to hear the sound vibration of the
Yeah.
mantra, then what is this sound vibration indicating? We're not impersonalists like om, just nothing going on at all. This is called shantaras. This is like neutrality. It's not like that. Not at all like that. We're considering, where has this Mahamantra come from? Ultimately, it's come from the sound vibration of Krishna's flute. Ultimately, Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtana. It's coming from Golok. So what is happening in Golok? We can think about the pastimes of, or for example, you can be chanting, you can be looking at the beautiful symbols on the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna. You can be remembering them very easily, very strongly. You can remembering the personalities, their forms, and particularly, of course, their loving relationship, because it's Hare Krishna meeting, and then it's Krishna Krishna Hare Hare separation. So what is this enormous distinction that goes on between these two moods of meeting and separation? But if you're thinking, I'm Kanishna, I'm Kanishna, I'm Kanishna, I'm Kanishna, then
No,
you'll
I'm not.
always be Kanishna.
I'm not thinking because I practice many years before meditation, very serious. So my mind not go away when I chanting. It's not go. I think, oh, I will do this. No, I just chanting.
So
It's
then
not.
you focus with
Yes.
your controlled mind on the leelas, on the
Okay.
pastimes, particularly if we're chanting in the Nishanta Leela. It's described in the very first chapter. Babaji is meditating in Nishanta Leela. He's chanting. Tears are rolling from his eyes. And he's seeing Radha and Krishna. And then that monkey, Kakati, starts to make a noise and disturb Radha. Actually, Radha, there's a cock, cock-a-doodle-doo, that cocks like that. And Radharani, in her desire to be, to stay in that place with Krishna, to not have to get up, she curses the cock to go to hell. And then there's silence and the cock starts crying. And she thinks, did the cock really go to hell? I don't care anyway. And then she just holds Krishna tighter. And Krishna is also holding her. So what is the moods between the divine couple at that time? And we should be thinking, how can I serve the divine couple at that time? There will come a time when um, Brinda Devi, she makes all the whole forest begin, so much the birds, etc., making such a beautiful symphony of sound. And then Krishna realizes he has to get up because the monkey is shouting out, Jotila is coming. But what does Jotila mean? Jotila can mean Mother Jotila, or it can mean the dawn. The dawn is coming. Radha and Krishna, this is the whole conception of Parakia. If it was Swakia, there would be none of this startling dynamic or excitement within the relationship, right? If husband and wife are just waking up at home, there's nothing to, no stimulant there. But with Parakia Bhav, there is so much impetus. Both of them have to reach their home before Jotila comes into the room of Radharani and Mother Yashoda comes into the room of Krishna. So this is an incredible pastime because eventually they do understand that they have to now rise, even though they don't want to. They've been up all night dancing in such an extraordinary way, and they've just begun to slumber for a little bit, and then they have to rise. This is an austerity. We know every single morning we have to rise. So what about them? They have to get, but and then the manjaris, they are looking through the little windows. They immediately are called in and they begin to decorate both of the Radha and Krishna. And then the Sakis perhaps come in and begin joking, etc. And then very quickly they have to start their journey home. Then Radharani, she's being supported by her Sakis and her Manjaris all the way back to Javat, because she's immediately feeling the most intense separation, because previously they had the most intense union in Nishantalila. Nishantalila is the most intense union and also the most intense separation. So Radharani is practically being carried home by the Sakis and the Manjaris. But Krishna, he's alone. Krishna just falls from one tree to another tree. He's like staggering because he's also in total separation from Radhika. And somehow or other, he manages to get back to Nandagal and falls into his bed, throws the sheet over his, and almost immediately, Mother Yashoda, Arai, why are you not up? Why are you still sleeping? And then she starts to see the marks on his body. And then somehow Madhu Mangal has come very early. And Madhu Mangal, he says, oh, this is from Krishna enjoying with the gopis. And Krishna, he goes to go underneath the sheets like this. What are you saying, Madhu Mangal? Why are you saying like this? And then Mother Yashoda, she completely can't even think of that consideration. She says, no, no, you stupid boy. This is when Krishna's out in the cowherd fields and he's fighting with all the other suckers and the cows, and it's very rough in the fields. This is how he's got these marks. So even though Madhu Mangal said it straight to her face, she can't believe it for a single second. So this is what's going on first thing in the morning. So I'm chanting and I'm chanting. And with the potency of the mantra, if I want to serve the divine couple, you see, this is what has to be ignited. The desire to serve the couple. If I'm not trying to serve the couple, I'm trying to get some shantaras for myself, some happiness for myself from the chanting, isn't it? It's just said here that solely for Krishna's happiness. It's a very high platform, but it's something that we can hear about and aspire for. Because if you're just chanting, oh, this is such a wonderful vibration, so nice sound, I'm so happy, yes, I'm in bliss. This is called Brahm Ananda. This is the bliss of Brahm. And it's very, very dangerous because you can stay there eternally if you don't make the color or flavor of the pastimes, if you don't include the pastimes, and then include the mood of service to the pastimes. There has to be service. Then there's sambandha. Without the savor, there's no sambandha. There's no connection. It's just abstract. It's actually like nirvishesh Brahm. That's actually what it is. But by the chanting, etc., then Krishna's mercy will come in the form of so much udipan. Like now you're in Goradhan. There is so much inspiration to hear about Mahaprabhu, to think about Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu's pastime. You see, what is Mahaprabhu meditating on this time of the day? Mahaprabhu gets up, it's described he washes his lotus face, and then he also is meditating on his Shantalila. He's meditating on the same thing. He's engaged in that mood. So this is the understanding, but it's not. It's rare. Okay, even if. Go ahead.
Even if there is an effort for one's own pleasure, it is in accordance with Krishna's happiness.
Like the gopis, for example, when they run to the forest, they want to be with Krishna, but priority is that Krishna wants to be with them. That's the priority. So even they have some conception of having, they have the pleasure of pleasing Krishna. That is their pleasure, to please Krishna. Just like a mother wants to please her children. A mother by nature, she becomes happy when her children are pleased, right? So a little bit like that, we can understand it to some degree.
This unprecedented love is only found in the female residents of Vraja.
Therefore, to attain this, we can only follow the female residents of Braj. That means the gopis, Gopi Anugatya. There isn't any other way to enter into this place of Vrindavan Leela. There isn't another way. It's only by following the gopis and their moods and their total dedicated self-surrender, their submissiveness, their nature. They're not actually submissive to Krishna. Chandravali is, but most of the other gopis are quite contrary with Krishna because that pleases Krishna. Krishna's happy when they'll contradict him. Oh, you debauchee. Oh, where were you last night? What are all these marks on you? You've been with somebody else? And they'll be very angry with him. And Krishna will appreciate that. He'll like that rather than the sort of submissive mood. So these are all called nuances, the subtleties of the relationships in Braj between the gopis and Krishna. And they're very extensively enumerated and described by Srila Rupa Goswami Pad. They're all there for our understanding if we want to go in that direction. If this path has become our utter priority, if there's no distracting pull in the material realm, but it's very rare. It's very rare. But still, we're in process. Understand? So, it's not, it's not like other religions and so on, where you're just waiting to get Krishna's unknown mercy. We know what we want. We want to have the consciousness where I can properly serve Radha and Krishna. That's what I want. But it's not so easy.
The gopi's brain is endowed with a particular wonderful sweetness, madhurya, and gives rise to many playful sports and pastimes.
Yes, this is why when we're chanting the Hare Krishna mantra, we want to be considering what are the different sports and pastimes. And there are so many. There are 8 yamas of the day. It starts with Nishanta Lila, then Prata Lila, then Purvana Lila, then Madhyana Lila, then Apurvana Lila, then Shayam Lila, then Pradosh Lila, then Ratri Lila. All of these different periods and pastimes of the day are detailed description are there. So any time during the day, we can be considering what is Radha and Krishna doing. And you can also parallel it with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leelas. But Mahaprabhu himself is meditating on these Astakali Leela. This will be described as the goal at the end of the Rasa Tattva section, when we've gone through so much to come to that point. But this is like the first window into that Rasa Tattva section, is this chapter 21, because it's describing Raganuga Bhakti. So it's starting this journey. It's trying to get these sadhak to become interested in these incredible pastimes of Vrindavan.
That is why learned scholars refer to this unique condition of love as calm, lust. Although in reality, the gopis' calm is aprakrita, transcendental, and completely bereft of even the slightest trace of fault.
What is the fault of calm in this world? It's always because it's for my pleasure. This is the distinction. The calm in this world is what am I going to get out of it? We see in this world, in any marital relationships, they remain together as long as they feel that they're getting something out of it. And we see the deplorable condition of Kali Yuga, where the very second one of the parties in the married life don't feel that they're getting sufficient out of the relationship, they'll just cancel the relationship. There's no sense of honor or duty or respect, which is there present in many cultured Indian families, for example. They don't even really have the word divorce in their vocabulary. It's a Western world. But in the Western world, we should appreciate how fallen the nature is and how fickle our minds are. You know, having our senses gratified to such a high degree that we've spoilt our soberness. We haven't been brought up from birth to be sober. That hasn't been there. So therefore, our minds are very fickle and can easily just jump here and there.
The calm of the conditioned souls is full of fault and contemptible.
Yes, that's the calm of the conditioned soul. Whereas the calm of the transcendentalist is completely selfless. They want to, the gopis are meditating how to satisfy Krishna's calm, how to satisfy Krishna's desires. Krishna has manifested his Swarup Shakti for his own pleasure. Swarup Shakti has manifested billions of gopis to satisfy Krishna. Every single gopi, her only thought is, how can I satisfy Krishna's calm? All of them have the same meditation. How can they but that might not be direct. We have this beautiful book, Prema Vivart, where it's describing like the crooked way of love. Love is not direct. It's very crooked. It's very intense. And the more we come to be interested in this topic and read about this topic, then the more we will appreciate the crooked nature of Vrindavan, in fact. And this is love. Like, for example, Radharani will never say to Krishna, "Oh, I love you." If Radharani said that, Krishna would wonder, oh, what have I done wrong now? What is my mistake? You know? But if she calls him a debauchee, if she tells him to go here, then Krishna becomes, then he knows, oh, she really loves me. So it's not like in this world, because everything there is selfless. We only get so deeply absorbed in our own desire to fulfill our selfish ends.
Whereas
The calm,
the calm of the conditioned soul is full of fault and contemptible. Whereas the love of the gopis is so transcendently pure and attractive that even such dear bhaktas as Uddhava also desire to attain it.
These are the purest personalities. Uddhav actually is like an Aishwarya Bhakta, but still he desires Ahamaso Charana Renu. He's saying at the end, when he's come to Braj, he spends like 6 or 7 months in Braj. And finally, when he's leaving, he is so much glorifying the speciality of the gopis' prem. He's seeing just the extent of their selfless love. And he's seeing that in comparison to the Dwarkavasis. Their love is nothing compared to the Brijvasis. All these subjects have to really be studied and heard about. The distinction between Vrindavan and Dwarka and Mathura, the dynamic, the difference between Aishwarya Bhav and Madhurya Bhav. It's very extensive. If you read one book, for example, called The Origins of Rath Yatra, actually in the 6th, 7th, and 8th chapters of that book, it goes very much detail into the different aspects of their relationships. And you can get a very broad, we need to hear about these things for a long time to really, catch them.
Nothing can compare with the gopis' calm. It can only be compared with itself. Calm Rupa Ragatmika Bhakti is found only in Vraj and nowhere else.
And this is what Mahaprabhu miraculously has come to invite us, the most fallen conditioned souls in this age, into this kingdom of Braj. He's come to invite us there. We were never invited previously. And if we're hearing about these topics, if we're hearing about Mahaprabhu also, we're cultivating seva to him to get his mercy. He wants to give us this mercy. He's come because he wants to invite us into this realm. But we are so stubbornly thinking that, oh, I have so much, other things to do that are more important than this. Therefore, it will be, we'll miss it. It takes a lot of serious, focused attention. It takes absolute dedication, ultimately. That dedication will come by our immersion in Nam. We'll get the strength and the courage and the conviction, because Nam will always be um, purifying the heart. And that purification will increase our clarity of consciousness. When that purification is happening in the heart, we'll have the ability to see everything more clearly, according to Shastra. If we're trying to read something and we haven't chanted very much, we're not going to understand very much. Really and truly, there'll become no realization. But the holy name will purify the consciousness and the vision. So when we read, we drink it down very deeply. And then once we've drunk it and we chant again, we can be remembering it. Shravanam, hearing the sound vibration. Then kirtan, remembering the Harikatha. And then smaranam, remembering all of the pastimes. Shravanam, kirtanam, Vishnu smaranam. These are the angas that we discussed in the 20th chapter. It's a divine process, incredible process. But we have to come to the bottom of it, you know. There's another beautiful book, this Rag Vartman Chandrika, just behind you, Prabhu, on the top there. Yes, 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 that's it. Pass that to me. I just want to show. You see this little book here? This is extraordinary. All of you should actually definitely read this little book. This little book is saying all of the things that are being spoken of here, but in a much more direct manner even. This is very direct, but this is even more direct. My Gurudev is speaking to serious devotees. They're all the leaders of ISKCON back in 91, 92. They're all gurus. They've all got disciples. They're all endeavoring to take their lives very seriously. So he's very happy to get this like qualified group who are asking so many questions about this topic, and he answers them fluently. So if we take shelter of this particular book, it's online. The recordings of this book, where they were taken from, are on my website. You can go into audios on my website, and all of the Harikatha is there. So you're getting it direct. It's no interpolation or editing mistakes or anything. You can hear it direct from my Gurudev himself. But this is so helpful in appreciating the topic that we're scrolling through now. This is like the limit of topics that we're discussing. We're just touching on them just to try and get some inspiration to go forward into Bhav Bhakti is the next chapter. But this is all opening the door for Raganuga Bhakti. Such an important chapter, paramount. The balance is tipping in this chapter.
Kubja's calm in Mathura is not really calm, but merely rati.
Yeah, that calm, you remember Kubja. Actually, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur has described her as Bhudevi, as Mother Earth. Mother Earth was bent and crooked because of the weight of the warring armies on the planet. So she became somewhat deformed, like Kubja. And Kubja, she's carrying all the fragrances and beautiful perfumes for Kamsa, just like Mother Earth has all these fragrances and perfumes within her body. Mother Earth has that. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur compares her to Mother Earth. And when she sees Krishna, she's immediately very attracted to Krishna. She's always brought up this example. It's called Sadarani Rati. It's a type of rati that Rupa Goswami is going to acknowledge, because the only person that she ever had attraction for in this way is Krishna. She never had attraction for any other man other than Krishna in her whole life. Therefore, that is acknowledged. So her name always comes out. But even this calm is inferior, way inferior to the Samanjasarati of the queens. And their calm, because their focus on Krishna is divided. They have 10 sons and one daughter. So that means Krishna actually has a twelfth of the focus. He doesn't get, but the samartha rati of the gopis, that's the third type of rati. This samartha rati is described as being able to control Krishna. It has the ability to control Krishna because of their intense affection to him. We see in this world, if someone, it might be a mother or a father or a brother or a friend or a girlfriend or a husband or a wife, really, really, really has attraction and affection for you, they'll control you, right? You will want to please them. You won't want to disturb them, etc. You will want to reciprocate. So we get a material understanding of this being controlled by love. And Krishna is only hungry for these loving exchanges. Krishna says everywhere in Bhagavad Gita, Manmana Mabhavad Bhakto Madhyaji Namanmaskuru, that just to, with your mind, concentrate on me fully, and then you will come to me. If your mind is fully concentrating on me, then you will surely develop that attraction for me, and then I can reciprocate. You understand? I'm trying to say everything very briefly. It's a huge topic. We should sit for some months and just unpack all this topic, but it's a very lengthy subject matter actually, and I'm just splashing it out briefly for your consideration at this point. And
The
nowhere else, Kupja's calm in Mathura is not really calm, but merely rati. Yes, it's not the calm that we've been discussing, that selfless affection, because she has attraction for Krishna's body, and she actually wants that same reciprocation with her body, which we see later manifests when Uddhav and Krishna, they go to her home, and Krishna sits on the bed with her like that. It's all described. But this is not the same calm as the gopis have, and it's only considered rati. It's not considered in the same area of the gopis' calm.
The calm that I am describing has no relation with that of Kubja.
Yes, because this is much inferior. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Babaji, is taking the level much higher. He's bringing it to a high level. So, Karen, Brajanath.
Brajanath.
Well, that's the end of that topic on calm. What's the time? I think we should stop because tomorrow we'll go into Sambandha Rupa Bhakti. So we can go there. And that's a different type of attraction there. These two barbs here. So I think that's a good place to stop. I don't know what the people behind the camera are thinking. I'm sometimes wishing that just speaking with live people, and then these things must prompt questions, must prompt more inquiries and examinations. But when I can't connect, I don't know what those are. So, by the way, I'll repeat what I said at the beginning, that if anyone watching this video wants to join the WhatsApp group, then on that WhatsApp group, there's far more communication between us all watching it and trying to appreciate more deeply, especially the map we discussed yesterday, that whole context about Siddha Loka. We discussed that. Okay, so, and try to get this beautiful book or listen to the audio, Rag Vartman Chandrika. Jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Jaiva-Dharma ki jai, Ananta Kota Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Braja Prem ki jai, Braja Leela ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Vanshakapatrubhyascha, Kripa Sindhavevascha, Patitanam Pavanibhyo Vaishnavevyo Namaha. Problem is, one of these questions starts a whole, like,